Okay, everyone, this is Randy Small, Whatcom County weather, and we are going to go live both on, at least make an attempt to go live both on YouTube and Whatcom County weather here on Facebook. So we're going to see how see how this goes. This will be a first time. I tested it yesterday and it worked great, but we're just going to have to see how this goes. I'm going to grab the YouTube link and add it to the Facebook Live link. And so we shall see how this goes. But we're going to take a look at what's upcoming this week. And I'll let a few people join in here and we'll just see how this goes. But hopefully you can let me know if I sound okay and I have good quality overall. So just let me know either by a like or by a comment here on Facebook. Same thing on YouTube, and I'll kind of watch this as we go. Looks like I got a couple people on YouTube. I'm trying to see. Thank you. I got a report on YouTube that I sound great. I'm trying to see if I can simultaneously live stream to both these platforms. I'm kind of waffling between what should I do because think I'm losing out on the Facebook side of it, but also knowing that there are a fair amount of people that are not on Facebook that would watch it on YouTube. So I'm like, can I do this together? And I'm also going to work on putting these together. Working on it currently when I am out in the field live streaming to both platforms. And again, we'll see how this goes, but it looks like YouTube is up and good. And up and going, just kind of waiting to see. Looks like I'm live streaming just fine on Facebook, although it would be nice to know if the comments are telling me that I'm able to be heard just fine. So we'll kind of follow and hope this works. If you don't hear me on Facebook, then you will have to go switch over to YouTube. So we'll check in on comments in both places as well. And the live chat on YouTube, I'll follow that. So, and I will, let's just get started. Honestly, I haven't looked at a single thing weather related today. So I'm going to look at the GFS here to start with. Models are 1 hour earlier. Weather models now coming out because of the time change. So the GFS is already done for the 0Z for tonight, which is actually tomorrow's first run. But because we are a little bit behind Zulu or Greenwich Mean Time, it's already run. So actually, let me start, before I run that, let's start with temps, and they are cool tonight. Temps around the county are on the cool side. We got lots of 30s. Not much for wind, so that's and a clear night. We could see the moon, at least I could when I just got back from the gym. So we've got 38 up in Sumas, 36 in Everson, 37, 38 in Bellingham, 36 at the airport, 41 at Ferndale with a light northerly flow, 42, 37 up in Blaine, Semiahmoo, kind of up that area across the White Rock, and is saying 43. 38 out on the peninsula, 40 on Lummi Island. So you get the picture. No wind to speak of, really, and that's probably going to allow us to be able to have some fog formulate. And the forecast is calling for a crisp night. I could see, depending on cloud cover, again, I need to look at that. I haven't looked at much today, like I said, or really nothing. We'll see if we are going to have some people hit freezing tonight. So that we'll have to keep an eye on that, and I apologize for not getting into this sooner. I've had a pretty busy last couple of days. So that's where we stand on current temps and wind, which is nil tonight. Let's check November stats. We broke the record on November 1st, 1.52 inches of rain here, 2025. This is for BLI, which is the Bellingham International Airport. It's the official reporting station of our area. And we have another 0.03. Yesterday, I don't think there was any rainfall today that I know of, so we are at 1.55. Looking back at October, we did not quite make average, but we sure made it up. We were way behind, and we came back here. I think it's 3.85, so we were just about, 0.39 under the normal average for precip in Bellingham at the airport. So And again, you can kind of see the first half of October was pretty dry. They had this one couple of days stretch where we got 66 of an inch, about 2/3 of an inch. And then, a couple small days. And then you hit the 18th and it's like, yep, we got 0.86 those 2 days, a little bit of a lull, and then here comes a bunch more. And so we made up a big difference. And let's take a quick look at the year-to-date chart. I like doing this whenever I do a live stream. The accumulation graph here. I think I could probably do this in my sleep. I've done it so many times. But here's the accumulation graph, and you can see at the end here it has gone up see that spike right there? That's the rain over the weekend or the last, few days and into November. And so we were back here, I think it was on October 18th. I had this figured out. We're about 4 inches. We're right there. 17th, we had 4.13 was our difference. We were short for the year, 4.13 inches. Now look at this. We are now short 2.55 inches. So we've made up in about 2 weeks, we made up a deficit of about, 2 inches? No, not quite 2 inches, 1.75 inches. So that's a good sign. That's good for what we would like to see here. And we're going to have some more precipitation as we go. So again, if you are following on YouTube tonight, please hit the thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed, and the more you watch, the better we're going to be out there and get into the algorithm better. So, okay, we had a little pause there, and I'm not sure, there is something that causes that pause when at one of these sites, every time I go to it. So, good evening, Keith, over on YouTube. Glad to have you. And I apologize. Still trying to figure out why that buffers like that. So we'll hope that that we don't have too many problems with that. So again, I'm going to hop over to Facebook right now and just check. We got about 34 people watching us there. And a bunch of, let's see... Yep, a few comments. So we'll catch up on those as we go. So looking up at the mountains, we're below freezing tonight. Of course, no precipitation right now, but 31 at the Heather Meadows, 30 at Pan Dome. And so I'm hoping they turn on the snow height here soon for accumulations up at the ski area. I'm not sure that they have done that. I have no indication that they've started that. So I'm just going to quick check and see if they have recorded any snow yet for the year, and they have not begun. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm curious to know how much they've gotten in September, how much they got in September and October up there at the ski area. Okay, let's hop over here to the GFS tonight, and so we got a kind of a cool night going on. Here's another system which is kind of headed in more toward the south of us to start with, kind of down into California and Oregon. You may have seen some other posts about that, but we already talked about that a couple nights ago, that was probably what was going to happen. But then you'll see this swing up here, and that's where our next rainmaker is going to, and weather maker is going to be, as the main part of the low is way up north, but that system will swing in, that front will swing in and catch us here. Tuesday night into Wednesday, it looks like. And then we just kind of push this in motion. Looks like we have another one here. This kind of, you see this kind of double-barreled low. You got one here and one up here, and as you put it into motion, you kind of see them spinning around each other, so to speak. And this one, the bottom one, the southerly one down here, is going to come down along about Thursday into Friday. That's just, again, just looking at this briefly here without looking into the deep parts of it. And then you see this ridge start to build for the weekend. We talked about this a couple nights ago. So again, if you're able to join us, these are the things we are able to discuss as we do this live. I kind of like doing this without looking at it ahead. But you see a little bit of a ridge here on the GFS building fairly decently for the weekend before what appears to be maybe another system, or at least an attempt at pushing that ridge out of here. And we'll just have to go from there as we see. We're getting a week out, so we're not going to chase that too much. So let's take a look at the euro, which has just begun tonight, and I got to keep up with my comments here and just make sure I don't have any issues. But The Euro's barely started. Let's take a look at the 18Z earlier tonight or this afternoon. Here's the 18Z, and here you see that first big low, upper level low, pushing that front beginning in California and Oregon, kind of hitting it down here at first, and then swinging it up towards us. And then let's see here if it looks like there's that second one. It looks like the GFS or the Euro has that a little bit further north than the GFS had that, but you can see that impacting us right here as that low kind of goes north of Vancouver Island on this run. And then let's see if the ridge builds for the weekend, and it does as we come into Saturday here, Friday, Saturday, although Friday might still have some precip leftovers. And that ridge builds, and then you see this out here, and that's the end of the 18Z. I'm going to pull up the 12Z because I can go a little further, and I'm just curious to know what kind of splits that and that ridge kind of here, and kind of some maybe benign weather next week until later, and then you see that big next system potentially, but that again is way too far out. So let's take a look at the precip for the GFS tonight, just to get us an idea of when the system here is. That initial system down further south, you see it's kind of attacking Oregon. Well, attack is not the right word, and you can kind of see it down here in California. If we pulled up the West Coast, you could see that better. And then it's going to swing. Remember I said it'll swing up. Here's late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Here it comes. A lot of precip on this run offshore, but and here it comes early Wednesday morning. You can see some accumulation. See how that it swings up here, as we saw. Not a ton of accumulation into Wednesday on this run, about a 1/4 inch, more in the mountains. Olympics get a good dose, and down here gets a fair amount. And then as we go into Thursday, we get more rain. So it looks like Tuesday night into Wednesday, light rain. Wednesday, not too bad on this run. Thursday might be a little more soggy. We're going to have to take a look at winds as well. And I'm just continuing into Friday. And it gives us about an inch over the next, keeps on going into Friday morning. And then I think it dries out here. As we continue into Saturday, you don't see much rain adding on to that. So kind of what we saw on the 500 millibar chart, which is looking at it from like way up in the sky, but we can kind of tell as we go to the surface, which is what this map is doing, we can see a lot more of what's going on. So here's the Euro, and I'm going to run the 12Z just because I can see it goes out further than the 18Z. And here again, the system that starts down in Oregon and down in California, that first big upper level low, and then as we're going into Tuesday, that's tomorrow, and we're going to go forward. And here it comes, Wednesday morning. Here comes the precip as it swings up to us. And you can see the Euro's a little more wet down into the southwest here. Or how about I say, south of Snohomish, King, Pierce, down into Olympia, Thurston, and further south. And, of course, Oregon already got it. But and then it just kind of keeps going up slowly. Again, the Euro's not too wet. Neither was the GFS as we're going into Thursday morning. Let's see what Thursday during the day. See a little more rain on the Euro. Here it comes. A little more of that system. So Thursday looks to be a potentially rainy day. I'm suspectful of some wind as well. Friday, and is kind of where we're going to know. Yep, Friday's got a little bit of precip in the morning. Looks like it might maybe start drying up as we go in later in the day. And then we head into Saturday, and I think Saturday will probably be a decent and even Sunday, at least at the initial look. But you can see the Euro here on the 12Z. This is in the latest run, but you can see where a lot of precip is down here in Northern California, Brookings area down here in Southwest Oregon, and up the coast, all the way even up to the Washington coast. But then, you in here, you probably got some rain shadow going on just because the way the system swings up. The Olympics are blocking some of that precip. But, and you can see the mountains get a pretty good dose, but this doesn't scream any craziness. Just more rain and then some nice, maybe even dry time as well. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. With it being cooler, I'm guessing there's going to be some snow here. So let's just run the GFS tonight, and you can see, and this is not a very good high-resolution model, let me tell you. It's not at all for snow. It's not a good one, but it gives us an idea. It looks like the Cascades, it wants to give the Cascades a decent amount of snow. Let me take a look at the Euro, and even this is not the best at picking up the resolution in our terrain when it comes to snow, but you can see down here in the kind of toward the central southern Cascades, got some snow, and then as we kind of go in late midweek here, let's just see if there's, the GFS seems to be more gung-ho on snow up in the northern Cascades. The Euro, not so much. Here it comes. as we kind of go into Friday. But that's, it's a potential here. So there is some snow potential coming up in the Cascades. Okay, I'm going to pause before I talk about the wind. And I'm going to take a look at comments. Let's see how we're doing here. Wow. I got a lot of comments over here. Looks like we got a fair amount of people watching the live stream on YouTube. That's great. Okay, we'll try to fix that on the fix that buffering. I may have to change service providers or something. Let's see. Looks like a dry morning. That would be for tomorrow. Yes, I would agree if that's what you were talking about, Keith. How will the waves in Bellingham Bay look during the king tides? And I am aware. I knew the king tides. I think. Oh boy, I had the dates too. I know they're coming up because someone else on my weather on Twitter mentioned them. The waves, a lot of times the waves will really become a factor if there's any major wind, especially westerlies. And so that's the thing that we need to take a look at. Southerlies can as well, but the westerlies are what makes damage in places like Birch Bay when you got king tides on the westerlies, as we've seen several times in the last few years. So I will have to dig into that, Keith, a little bit more. But that is a great question and a great thing, I think that we need to talk about. Let me take a look, and I'm looking at the comments, everyone. I know you're looking at a snow map, and you kind of see me over here. I am looking at the comments on another computer just to make this simplified for myself. So I'm going to take a look at the most recent comments, hopefully here, on the Facebook page. So again, we are simultaneously live streaming on both Facebook and YouTube tonight. Please say strong winds from the northwest in the strait. Well, we'll take a look at that in just a little bit. Thank you, Larissa, for sending the stars. Appreciate that. Gloria would like some rain. In Hawaii area. Well, I don't, I'm not sure what I can say about that. So, Dave wants waves at the Birch Bay Surf Club. Okay, I got it. Now I get why you want the northwesterlies. Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm seeing everybody's comments, but at least I'm still learning how to do this simultaneous live. So I'll check again before I quit. Oh yeah, and I know there's another way of checking the comments. Okay, Jennifer seems to be on both of these pages. So, okay, and we got Sarah and Kathy and Schwinn all joining us. So appreciate that. We dropped the YouTube link. Anytime you share, like, love, follow, whatever it is going to help boost us, and that's going to help us with the algorithm as we go into the storm season, which we are now in November. So December, January, February especially, but of course November can be windy, and we can even see some snow as we head in toward mid to late November, probably late November to be specific, that we would really have much of a chance. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened earlier, of course it has, but let's take a look at wind. And I had this, and we'll show the satellite here in just a bit as well. Thank you, Christine. Appreciate that for sending the stars and supporting our page and our channel and all that we're doing. It all takes a lot of doing and a lot of work, but we appreciate that. And I know a lot of you have supported us and continue to do that. We are grateful for that. So I'm going to actually switch to the old style looper because there's a couple of reasons why I like the old one, but let's take a look at let's see, this is tonight's run. So we are good to go. Let's go ahead, and we got some northeast wind, or when I say wind, it's not too crazy tomorrow, but we do have some east. And I mentioned this the other night on the live. We got some easterly coming through the mountains, or making an attempt to come through the mountains, and then some northeast Fraser outflow, east-northeast winds tomorrow. And so we call these gap winds. You can see them down by North Bend through I-90, and then, through Highway 2. You see these easterlies, and there's some strong winds up here. That's 60 knots. I'm not sure. This is in Skagit. I don't know exact location in the northeast Skagit what that would be. Maybe one of the passes there on Highway 20. I'm just trying to think if that's what that would be. But let me think here. 60 knots would be 60 times. Okay, the way you figure this out is for every 5 knots you add to the miles per hour. So it would be about 72 miles an hour, give or take. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but you can see the potential for some easterly gap winds tomorrow. And that's what it looks like 20, 30, 40 miles an hour. We're not saying that here in the Fraser outflow area, but up in the mountains, maybe the foothills get a little bit of this easterly push here. And then as we go into Wednesday, we still got northeast outflow Wednesday morning, and then we kind of see this change as we go through the day on Wednesday. And there's the southerlies. There they all come about, I mean, and yeah, we're approximating time here, but between 10 and 4, so kind of mid, noonish time, as I can't look at every single hour, but you see some stronger southerlies off the coast. And so, yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on Wednesday for wind into Thursday. And then we got perhaps more easterly flow coming on Thursday after. Then, yeah, so more wind Friday morning potentially. So we will we'll put up a post about the winds, and we'll try to update some of the specifics on what that looks like. But I think the first thing that we need to talk about tomorrow will be some light to, later in the day, maybe a little bit ramped up, but not crazy northeast wind, east in the gaps, maybe up in the foothills, some there that we talked about. And then we're going to need to talk about southerlies Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or, a combination of those days. So as I look at that, so that kind of tells you the wind. Let's just this is the UW high resolution model. It's really cool that we have at least a decent weather model that is run right here in the state and for our area. We are one of the most difficult areas in the country to forecast because of the terrain and other things. Let me take a look at the accumulated precipitation in Western Washington tonight on tonight's run here, just for the whole, next few days. Let's take a look at this. You can kind of see going into, that's Friday morning, Friday afternoon. So, and then Saturday. So it's kind of calling for 3/4 of an inch, ½ inch to 3/4. The purple is starting to push toward an inch. And then up in the mountains, you're talking, 3 to 5 inches at the higher elevations of precip. Some of that will be snow. It won't be all rain, as I'm certain that the snow levels will be fairly decent. They're not going to be crazy high, at least there might be occasional time here that it would be, and I haven't delved into that, but so you can see a decent amount of rain coming to the mountain, or precip, coming to the mountain, some of which at the higher elevations might be snow. And in fact, I pulled up Mount Baker Ski Area's forecast page just real quick, and we got a low of 30 tonight, very little chance of snow. Very nice day up in the mountains tomorrow, it looks like, mostly sunny, high of 40. Then they say rain, or snow, then rain, so it looks like it's lowering and then warming, high of 40, so it's got rain on Wednesday. So the snow levels will probably be, I'm thinking that they're going, if it's a high of 40, probably 6,000, just a guess here. Yeah, so not a lot of snow. Maybe Friday when it cooler here, we would have some snow down even to the ski area. So let's take, and I'll look at your comments and in just a minute. Let's take a look at the forecast discussion. Let's see how we did. Let's see if the National Weather Service sees what we see, or we're blind and they're good because they're always right? Okay, here we go. Weak weather system is moving in the area from the south tomorrow, but that's pretty much south of us. Stronger systems of the week will be moving Thursday and Friday for additional rainfall. Oh, excuse me. That first system they're talking about is tomorrow night into Wednesday, and that did have a little bit of precip hitting us, but the main part is to our south. And then quieter weather is possible on Saturday. Okay. Now we got mentioned here Thursday, Friday, so that must be the king tide dates. I know somebody told me what they were, and but that just reading this tells me heightened waves and exacerbated coastal flooding hazards along the outer coast. Yeah, we've gotten into discussions with this before, because does Birch Bay is part of the outer coast or not? That's another discussion for another day, that we went round and round about that a few months ago or earlier. It must have been in early 25. But we'll keep an eye on that. Birch Bay, Bellingham, those areas, Sandy Point. We need to watch that with the wind. So we'll delve. I'll try to look into that more tomorrow, those specifics. Okay, light rain, southwest, that was further south. And then the next system arrives late Tuesday night. That's what we talked about. Not a huge amount up here. Although, okay, through late Wednesday night. They're talking about 3/4 of an inch of rain through the lowlands of the Sound. Winds will remain northeast to easterly and strongest along the coast and strait. Wind will begin ramping up Tuesday night, becoming southerly. We just saw that through Wednesday as the cold front catches up. Given the first period of higher than normal tides occurring, coastal flooding is a concern for areas of the outer coast where a coastal flood advisory has been posted beginning Wednesday morning, lasting through late Wednesday night. Okay, I'm pretty sure they're talking about the actual coast. Lapushnia Bay. Okay. And then long-term heightened seas and steep waves on Thursday will keep the chance of coastal flooding impacts in the forecast, despite a tide coming down a little bit from its Wednesday peaks. Okay, so they're monitoring that. Then they have this atmospheric river moving in on Thursday will focus the precipitation in the Olympics and Cascades. Uh-oh, we lost a signal. I don't know why we're losing that Facebook signal. I'm going to have to try to figure out why our Facebook signal isn't always holding on. So, but anyway, so 5,000 to 7,000 feet. I said 6,000. Okay, so I think overall we're hitting on the big details coming up. And that would be, so I'm going to recap this, and then I'll try to write up a recap on the computer for those who can't have the time or aren't able to take the time to watch all the details. We got a cool night coming tonight. We've got a pretty decent day tomorrow to start with, maybe a little bit of precip moving in, but it's probably late tomorrow night, early Wednesday morning. Some rain Wednesday with some breezy winds. We got northeast easterlies tomorrow as well. So that will be something that we need to just kind of keep an eye on. I don't think it'll be too crazy, and then Wednesday southerlies along with rain, and Wednesday night with a chance of rain, and then Thursday with some rain. Probably that's going to be where the most rain comes, and more wind potentially Thursday. Friday might start a little bit on the rainy side and end more on the dry side. That's kind of what it's sensing. But we'll watch that. Saturday and Sunday might be decent, especially Saturday. So that would be how I would summarize what we're seeing. Snow levels raise on Thursday between 5,000 and 7,000. I called it 6,000. But we might see them lower on Friday, so we'll see if there's any snow that's coming to the mountains. And by the way, if you want to know where the National Weather Service has their hazard warnings and all that, if you go to the actual homepage of Seattle, you can see they have a gale warning is up here. That's the purple. Coastal flood advisory is green. That's down down southwest. And then, kind of in the southwest. And then a coastal flood watch, not for our area, but from basically, Nia Bay all the way down to south of Hoquiam. Is that, Ocean Shores or that area. So that's where they have it. But there's nothing here for us at this point. So they are actually this time talking about the outer coast. So interesting to note that. So, okay, let me check the comments. Let me also remind you that we are trying to live stream on both, and we're trying to grow the YouTube page. So appreciate that. You guys hitting the like and subscribing and watching. The more you let it run, even if your dog and cat watch it, that's going to help us. So we have passed the 200 mark of YouTube subscribers. And I really want to get to 1,000. That's my goal, because then it opens up more stuff of things that we can do and more reach. So, okay, Keith wants to take pictures of the wave action. So that looks like, what day did we just say? Thursday or Wednesday into Thursday, I think. Not a fan of the Fraser outflow. I understand that. I don't think this one will be too bad. Okay, the YouTube signal is clear, so that's good. And I like the chat on YouTube. It's really kind of cool to see how that it's got the time and everything. So really appreciate that. Let me check Facebook, and I know we've had some glitches on Facebook. So again, not sure on that setup why that's doing that. So, but I appreciate you all following along here. It's really, really nice to be able to have you all following. So I'm not seeing too many more comments on Facebook here. I'm trying to find, there's a way to look at them here. So just a second. But if you do have any more comments, I'm going to end this pretty quickly. But just not seeing a whole lot of comments here. So, and I'm just trying to figure out how you can view them easy on this page. Actually, to be honest, if you do it on your phone, that's what I found in the past, that you can view the comments on the Facebook page way better. So, and again, the more you share these posts, the more you love them, especially, but like them, the more traction and algorithm they're going to get. So, and obviously, we're not in the busy season yet, so we'll just see how things go here along the way. So, one more thing that I was going to mention is we will put up a link here to the donation again, just to kind of keep that out there. I haven't been pushing it as hard as in the past, but have a reminder, we've raised about $1,000 already through that. Really grateful for all of that. And then I will be having my first open house for Randy Small Photography here in Linden at Vandergeesen Nursery on Saturday from 10 to 1. We'll be putting that announcement up on the page tomorrow. Getting ready for that. Have some fun things to do with that. We've got some old weather gear. Well, it's brand new still, but it's kind of wanting to flip it over, so I'm considering about putting that on sale for the sale at Vandergeesen and also on the website. And if you ever want to see the stuff on the website, you can just go over to randysmall.com, and that hosts the weather gear as well. But kind of updated the logo, so might want to make a new run of some stuff coming up here. But we have the 26 calendars here on the page, and those are starting to move. And then underneath the shop up here, we have new Christmas greeting cards. We just got some brand new coasters in. I haven't had a chance to put them on the page. We got some greeting cards, photo note cards, just kind of blank inside, and so are the Christmas ones. They're blank inside, but got a new mountain set that we just put together, kind of an all-star set. So looking forward to selling that. It's right here, called Mountain Majesty. And then we have lots of puzzles, and then at the bottom is our Whatcom County weather gear. And we won't put the flap hats on sale at this point. They sell too well, but some of these, maybe some of these items we might cut down in price here. And I am running limited on some of these, but we have kind of updated this logo and by adding the words Whatcom County weather to it. And so we'll probably produce some new stuff here coming up. But just wanted to make you aware of that. So, okay, I'll check the comments one more time, but really thank you all for following along. I know we're not in the middle of the big season at this point, but we're getting prepared. And I have more ideas coming up of what I would like to do along the way with this live stream and with some other things on YouTube. So just looking forward to being able to do all these things with you guys. So, okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you for all these faithful followers here. I've got some of the same ones that watch this every night on YouTube. And you comment, and the more you do that, the more you add comments, or maybe you have a criticism, preferably a constructive one. Maybe, obviously we're working out the bugs here, and we have some glitches on Facebook, it appears like, but maybe you have some criticism, maybe you have some encouragement, maybe, and I'm not meaning you have to tell me thank you. I mean, maybe there's something I'm missing, and there's something I can do better. And yes, I don't look very good on this screen. I haven't figured all, getting my camera all set up perfectly, and my background has got, it's like, and I got that, and we'll work on that. I am working on making the background better, but we're trying to focus on the weather, and we'll just keep on going. But if you do have any encouragement or criticism that is in the constructive nature, pass that in the comments, or send me a message, or write it on Facebook, or whatever. Email me, randysmall@yahoo.com. Whatever it is, you can get that across to me. It was great, because I'm new at YouTube. I know how to live stream on Facebook. I've done that a long time. So, okay, everyone, I think I'm going to call it a night, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. I'll write up a synopsis right now so that everybody else has what we just talked about. Have a great night, and thank you so very much for joining both on YouTube and Facebook tonight.